What's up, my cronies, and welcome back to Let's Play Gunman's Proof. Today in this video we're going to be conquering the third dungeon of the game and moving along on our quest. So just to kind of maybe let you know where I am in real time, upon recording this I have recently uploaded the first episode of the Let's Play online earlier today. So if you care at all, like when things get recorded or whatever, there you go. So the sheriff said something about a blocked path, and lo and behold, we find, when we go this way from the village, we find a couple rocks that we just can't really do anything about. Well, fortunately, the solution is very close, and actually, I had recorded this because when I recorded these videos, I just, at this point, realized that the weapons cycle through from machine gun to shotgun to bazooka, and then as we unlock more and more weapons, we get access to those as well. So anyway, the solution for the rocks is in this cave that's really close, where we learn a technique called the Big Punch from this karate man who seems to be more than content to live in this little cave. And he teaches us a skill that we will really only use to break rocks. But before we see that, I've actually found a carrot for the first time in the Let's Play, which lets me ride the donkey Roboton, which we found in the first dungeon. And like I said, when I first met him, he grants a period of invincibility where we ride him around and basically run down anything on our path. But we also can't interact with people or go into buildings or really do anything, so if you need to do something like break rocks, you kind of just have to wait for him to go away. So anyway, you use the Big Punch to break the rocks, and you go on your way. And the third dungeon is pretty close to here. There's a split path, but we'll check that out later, and you'll see why. So you just break more rocks, and watch out for the vultures. They tend to be fairly dangerous enemies, because they kind of fly around in random circles, and actually taken a few hits to them, actually. But they're really easy if you can stay far away and shoot them from afar. They're not a problem. Though there is one that you actually pretty much almost have to activate on this screen right here in this area. And also watch out for the pelicans, because they drop bombs on you. And it's this one. Pretty much right as soon as you climb up the ladder, he'll activate and go crazy. Hopefully you can make it to the dungeon in time before you get hit, but if not, oh well. You have quite a bit of health by now. So anyway, this is the third dungeon, the Red Canyon. And hopefully I'll find a weapon upgrade soon so I can show you guys the bazooka. Well, I found one, but walked into it a little too quickly. That's okay though, I'm not one to complain about the machine gun because it's a pretty good weapon. Though a bazooka would be nice against this guy. So in this dungeon we're actually going to find our first health power-up that isn't from a boss. Alright, well right now I'm gonna show off the bazooka, or the shotgun, actually. Which, like I said in the first episode, is my least favorite gun of the game. As you can see, it just kind of spreads out 5 bullets. And if more than one bullet hit your opponent, consider yourself lucky. If not, shoot again. But enough for that. I don't think I get it like one more time throughout the whole Let's Play. But now it's time for the best weapon of the game, the bazooka, which you can kind of already see is pretty good. It can't shoot at really long distances and doesn't have much ammo. But oh my god, is it strong. It can kill almost every regular enemy in one hit. And it pretty much decimates bosses too. The cool thing about it is it has two portions to the attack. Oh, well, first of all, we finally find an upgrade for the base gun. So whenever we find ourselves in a situation where we don't have a special weapon, we'll have a little something better to use. But like I was saying, it does damage as soon as the projectile hits, and also the explosion does its own damage, so it does a lot of damage. And it's my pretty much my go-to gun for just about the whole game. Except for I think a few of the later dungeons I'd prefer to have the machine gun or the next gun I get. But pretty much for all bosses I'm gonna want the bazooka, just because it's so good. And these guys are some of the only enemies in the game I'd recommend using punches on, especially because, well, you don't really want to waste a bazooka shot against them, like I did right there. The only problem is they can be a little weird to line up your punches. Honestly, it's probably best just to go straight for the treasure without attacking them. But anyway, grab the treasure and move on. You see these terrifying looking armored armadillo type things. Which, I feel like, yeah, there I go. I actually used the big punch, not to break a rock. So I guess I was getting low on ammo, so I kind of wanted to conserve. And I ended up with a machine gun. That's okay. As long as it's not the shotgun. Okay, so now moving on, I think, yeah, this is just a dead end. A couple stronger enemies that you'll see a little bit more commonly a bit later in the game, but you can pretty much just ignore that entire path because there's nothing really important to get. And you'll more likely than not just take a couple hits of damage. And waste ammo. Not that that's super important because the special weapons are pretty common. Those little snakes are also good for the little punches, provided you can line them up well. But I generally don't really enjoy using the punch attack. Okay, those are some weird hippo bear looking decoration things. And another room full of these armadillo type things. Rooms like this can be kind of annoying because enemies don't really fade in until you have like spent a second in the room. So sometimes if you're, oh hey, the guy dropped a bomb, nice. So like sometimes you'll walk into a room and take a few steps forward before any enemies come in, and you'll actually take a hit or two from the enemies because they just weren't there. I mean, it's not too big of a complaint because just like the special weapons, health power-ups are also pretty common. So now we've come to a part of the dungeon where we actually come back out into the world map. And here's where we can find the health power-up, if you should so choose to get it. Now you could just go on and go through the rest of the dungeon by going back in on the entrance to the right that you see there. But if you climb up the first ladder and go up and to the right, you'll find a little part where you can jump down. Keep taking the path, jump down one more time and go in there to find a zeal coin, which is basically a heart container. As you can see, it just upped my health by 1. And the only bad thing is now I have to basically go back through all of the dungeon that I've gone through again. Drops you out down here, and there's a treasure chest which I think contains a couple bombs, so if you're low on bombs you can use that. Either way, just walk to the right and go up the ladder, and you'll come out exactly where you basically got to the dungeon. So, through the power of editing, so you don't have to see me go through that portion of dungeon again, I've skipped ahead. And I've seem to have refilled my health and refilled my bazooka, which is nice. And now we can continue on. So we see a couple of new enemies. These enemies have crossbows, but are still pretty easy. This room has a treasure in it, but you'll have to watch for some falling rocks. Just walk kind of close to them to trigger them rolling down. And you'll want to follow the pattern that I just did and go through the door at the top. And boom, there's a treasure right there for you. I don't really think there's any need to explore the room on the left. But if you would so like to, there's nothing stopping you. Anyway, work your way back through this room, and you're actually going to want to take the exit that's closest to the place where you originally came in. So you might think, oh, the right way to go is some weird, puzzly way to get through the room, but no, it's just right there if you want to get to the boss sooner. And we've already come to another treasure chest, which contains a 1-up. How nice. Watch for this falling rock right here. I actually took a little bit of damage my first time going through the dungeon, but remembered about it right there. And I guess we're going to the left. And I think we're going to get another treasure before going on to the boss, really. That one snake is kind of like in some games you'll see an enemy and you'll think, oh, I'm gonna kill it, but then you miss it a couple times and you're like, it's just not worth it to try anymore. Yeah, took out 2 enemies with 1 shot there. Very nice. And I get to refill my bazooka. Double nice. Okay, so I think I might have lied about going on to just to get treasure. I think this is just, yeah, this is the way towards the end of the dungeon. And we will find some treasure just laying right here in the path, which is nice. Oh god, that guy like jumped right on top of me. I actually don't think I'm gonna get hit. Yeah, something. Alright, so I guess they did jump on land there. They usually just jump around in the water, but occasionally jump on the land. So at this point, I just really want to conserve ammo because I'm pretty close to the boss. And those crabs didn't even care that I just shot a bazooka at them. Well, if they withstood that 1 hit, I guess they can live. And I believe, yes, the boss is just right in the next room. Oh, we saw another enemy dropped another bomb. Very nice. Too bad we were already full up on bombs. I just never really thought to use them as I played this game. But alas, we've come to the boss. But before we fight him, we actually speak to the final boss of the game, Demi. We don't really get to see him, but he talks to us a little bit here. And he seems a little upset. I would be too if a few of my followers got beat by a little kid. Granted, it's a little kid possessed by some kind of space sheriff, but still, it's a little kid. Though that Miracle 5 guy was a pretty big wimp. I wouldn't have even had him on my squad if I was him. Anyway, this boss is, I think, Galahad E3 or something like that is the name. As you can see, it's like some kind of mecha dragon with 3 heads. And it's a pretty easy boss. It's not that hard to dodge the attacks from the various heads. I say that right as I get hit. But the heads tend to die. I thought they took less hits than this. Yeah, I've killed the first one, and there goes the second one. I'm just getting hit by everything, aren't I? But the pattern's pretty easy to follow, and you really shouldn't take a lot of hits. And I'm out of bazooka shots, so it's time to use that new gun I found. Certainly glad I went and got it. So once the 3 heads are dead, the body will walk around and will start ramming itself into the corners. It's obviously very easy to dodge, and you only need to shoot it a couple times. Well, a couple more than, like, the final part of Miracle 5 or whatever. But at this point, the boss is pretty much dead. And it explodes to reveal that it was actually a tiny turtle and 3 tiny snakes the whole time. How sad. Anyway, pick up the health power-up, open up the treasure chest for the Demi-Seed crest, and we're done with this dungeon. And of course now we have to look at all the treasures we found and get a bunch of meaningless points. "19 minutes. See, once again, that doesn't really make sense to me, because it's more like 15 minutes. I guess technically I did cut out a little bit when I was going to get the health upgrade. Or rather, after I got the health upgrade. So I guess that might be a more accurate timing. But either way, the dungeon's complete. Time to go back to town, where we'll pick up our reward, learn to use a new weapon, and actually buy something from that Chinese merchant. He actually has something for us now. Something that we desperately need to continue on with our quest. And it's not like money is a real big issue in this game anyway, because honestly the only things I ever spent money on were the things you really had to for the plot. See, here's an actual good time to find the carrot for Roboton. Because all I have to do is go back to town, I can just Fu Manchu it back there. Oh wait, except I have to break those rocks. I forgot. Well, it was actually useless. Forget what I just said. Now there is actually an NPC to talk to at the edge of the desert that at the time I didn't really know about, so I think I come to him in the next video or the one after it. I think it's the next one though. I haven't rewatched it yet. And I think you get some kind of item. I don't remember exactly what, but you get something. Either way, these dungeons are still pretty close to town at this point in the game, and we're already back. Man, this town theme is so catchy. It's probably my favorite song from the game, just because, well, for one thing, you hear it all the time. Second of all, it's actually a pretty good song. So now we go to the sheriff to collect our reward. And we find out where we go next. A classic Western trope, a ghost town. Should be interesting, and it actually is one of my favorite dungeons of the game, if not my favorite. Though of course I'll talk about it a little more in the next video when we actually go to it. So now let's check on I think the Chinese merchant is our first stop. Yes. Seems he has a cross for us. And if we're going to a ghost town, why not have a crucifix? Should be helpful. And indeed, it tells us it will dispel a blocking ghost. What is a blocking ghost? I don't know, because I haven't explored the overworld yet. But we'll see. Now, of course, onto the gun store to learn us a new weapon. And I believe today's weapon is the flamethrower. Yes. Now this is it's probably about tied with the machine gun for my second favorite. It's a very good weapon, and is similar to the machine gun, and I think both are good for different situations, but of course, I'll actually talk about it more when I actually get the weapon in the next video. So I guess that's about it for this one. All that's left is to go home, talk to my parents, and save. So I guess I'll start saying my goodbyes. Check back, as always, for more episodes going up within the next few days. I try to get these up once every other day. It seems like a relatively good rhythm to have. But anyway, until next time, thank you all for watching, and have a great day.